Ring ring, it's time for another episode of Crossplay Conversations, the show where we dive deep into the world of video games while keeping it light. I'm your host today, Jacob McCourt, and with me I have a slew of wonderful peeps. Let's start with Joseph Hooper, aka the Engaged One. Hello, Joseph.
What's up, everybody? As is tradition, I do have a little gift to show everyone. Today we have the Japanese version of Cuphead right here.
Cool. Very cool.
I did go to Amazon Japan, ordered this. I don't know, maybe they're still up for sale. I honestly don't know, but I love this. Also, as a bonus, Japanese version of Mario Tennis 64.
Nice.
Wow.
From Book Off in Japan.
Love
So,
that.
yes. Those are nice. I have other Japanese stuff back there too. I'll show them later episodes. But yeah, those are my show and tells for today.
Another reason for y'all to check out the YouTube version of this show. If you're listening to the audio, make sure to find us on YouTube at Crossplay Convos. Our second friend today, your friendly neighborhood podcaster, Luke Lewis. Hello.
Howdy, gamers. How we doing?
We're doing great. Better now. And better now that we're joined by the queen of the cozy game, Claire Lewis.
Hey, everybody.
And our very, very special guest today. I have decided that we need to increase the Canadian quotient on this show. So invited Mr. Gaming Nonsense himself. It's RoganPlaysGames. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys.
Good to
It's
see you.
great
So
to be
stoked.
here.
Yeah, we did the indie game fantasy critic invitational together and said, you know what, you're gonna get 6 podcast invitations from peeps, and we want to be the first one. So we're so happy to have you. For folks who don't know who you are, please let the folks at home know where they can find you and what you do.
Ooh. What am I? Very philosophical question, I think. I make short form videos about indie games mostly on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And, you know, the occasional skit, whatever I'm feeling in the moment. But yeah, mostly talking about video games and even more so small games.
Favorite indie game ever? Go.
Outer Wilds.
Oh,
Wow.
actually,
Such a
great
quick
choice.
answer and an excellent
Immediately.
choice.
I love it.
Shot from the hip, and I love it.
Yeah, Outer Wilds. It's like, I don't know if anybody has seen my TikTok here. I probably talk about it at least once a week, sometimes more. And it's just because I love that game so much. It's a game that's just like, I played it, I think, a couple years after it came out. I think it was like 2020 or 2021 or something like that. And in the moment, I was like, this is the best game ever, but I need to give this a little bit of time. Because, you know, when you feel that, sometimes you're like, maybe it's recency bias. It's the game I just played. And, like, 5 years out from that, I still feel the same way. So it's got to be up there.
Did you play the DLC as well?
Yes. Yeah,
of course.
I had to. I was so hyped for it before it came out. Yeah, it's great.
Well, again, remind folks where they can find you if they want to see a video a week about the Outer Wilds.
It is at Rogan Plays Games on whatever platform you use. Unless it's I don't use like X or anything like that these days. I'm out of here. I'm not. I'm out. I don't want to look at that anymore.
Yeah, we don't really know what that is. Well, hey Rogan, thanks for coming on today. We've got an excellent show today. We're covering our most anticipated indie games of 2026. So if you've been listening to the show for a couple years, this is always something we do right after our GOTY shows. And so we're bringing it back. We're going to give you 20 plus games to look forward to in the indie realm in 2026. But before we do that, we start with our icebreaker question, just a way to get to know us a little bit better. I've been at the altar of BBL January for the entire month. And for those of you who don't know, who have not been listening to the show, or at least Player Podcast where I introduced it, BBL January is Big Backlog January. I stole it from Blessing Adeoye Jr. It is a time where you jump into the backlog since there's no new stuff coming out and you play your old game. So I want to know, y'all, is anyone here jumping into the backlog? If so, what are you playing? And if you're not playing a January backlog game, let me know the last game that you pulled out of your backlog and played. Rogan, as our guest today, it is up to you to go first, unless you'd like a moment to think about it, and then I can hit it with the backlog.
No, actually, I have one that I've been wanting to get to for so long, and everybody's like, dude, if you don't play this game, you are doing yourself an immense disservice. And that's 1,000 times resist. Everybody tells me to play this game. I just I haven't gotten into it, but I know that I'm a big sci-fi guy, and so whenever there is this sort of dystopian sci-fi narrative, it's going to be right up my alley. And I don't know why I haven't played it. There's no real excuse. It's just things are coming out, and I'm playing those for review. But this one, I know that when I do eventually get to it, it's gonna blow my mind, and I have committed to doing it at some point in Q1 2026.
Okay.
If we're talking business terms here.
Okay.
Because,
you're running out of time.
BBL January? That's business. That's big business right there.
Yeah, big. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually BBBL January. It's Big Business Backlog January.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly.
There we go. Yeah.
There it is. And another Canadian title, Sunset Visitor, out of BC somewhere. So we're bringing up the Canadian quotient.
Love it.
Luke, what are you pulling out of the backlog in January?
I'm in a similar boat to Rogan. I have a plan, but it hasn't happened yet.
But
that doesn't mean it won't happen. But I'm committing on content, so that means it will happen. One from last year that I really wanted to get to, Despelote. Highly recommended by you, Jacob. A lovely short experience. Been on my radar for several months, so I'm going to try to carve out a nice weekend morning here in the next week or two and finally play that.
That
those
seems
ones
like
in the backlog. Those ones in the backlog are the best because it's just
you can just
you
slot
can just
it
do
in.
it and
yeah.
Just sit down for a couple hours and you. I don't want to say get it out of the way because that just seems like you're oh, I have to do this, but it's just it is nice to do that in the morning over a cup of coffee or something.
Read my mind. But yeah, there's just something cathartic about finishing a game. And so if I start something and I know I'm going to finish it, it's almost just like a stress relief of I'm not jumping into a 70-hour RPG. This is just a nice, quaint experience. So yeah, it's one I feel like I can safely commit to. So I'm going with that.
And I'm going to say this now. This very much feels like a patented Luke Lewis chill out with a coffee on a rainy weekend afternoon game. TM.
Beautiful.
That's true.
So there it is. Claire, do you have a similar game that you're trying to pull out of the backlog?
70-hour RPG.
You did jump back into something recently.
Yeah, I've been wanting to jump back into Starfield because I never finished it. I just got really caught up in ship and base building stuff, so that would be great. And I recently finished a book series that just reminded me so much of the vibes of Starfield. So I really want to get back to that too, but so far I've just kind of been finishing up games from last year that didn't actually quite finish before the end of last year. And on that note, I've been continuing, also unrelated actually, my playthrough of Journey to the Savage Planet, which is become my gaming comfort food. I got 98% of the way there, not just in terms of the story, but also trophies and achievements within the game because I was trying to be completionist, and they took it off Game Pass years ago. And when they finally put it back on Game Pass, it didn't remember any of my saves, so I had to start over.
No.
And then they took it off Game Pass again, so I just bought it. Actually, I think Luke bought it for me, and I had to start over. So I'm just chipping away at that, and it is fun.
And that's the first one, not the second one that's co-op,
Yeah,
correct?
well, I wanted to finish the first one so I could play the second one, and I have not done that yet.
That'll be BBL January 2027.
Or maybe 28 at this rate. Who's to say? The
Love it.
backlog
I'm
is
going to
long.
hold you to it. Hooper, where's your backlog at?
Yeah, just recently finished BioShock for the second time in my lifetime. We'll be talking about that on a very backlog-focused podcast, months in the future. We already recorded it, but I don't know when this thing is coming out.
Did Dave Jackson get to you?
Yeah, we know how Dave does it, where this thing is slotted for I don't even know, November of 2026 or something.
The most professional podcaster of all podcasters.
Very true. Other titles, things that I actually need to go back and try and chip away at. Return of the Obra Dinn I started last year but didn't finish. It was just a lot of like logic going on, and I think there were just other games popping up around the same time. Similarly, as a puzzle guy, I did buy Seance at Blake Manor from the end of last year. Have not actually like started the full game, but that's on the docket too. Whenever I'm like really back into that puzzle mode, right now I'm in like action mode. When I get back to puzzle mode, I'm gonna knock both of those out.
Love it. Love it. Rogan, were you looking for your diorama? Because I think you got an Obra Dinn gift this year, didn't you?
I do, but I packed it away. I wanted to whip it out, but Obra Dinn is so good, man. Like but I do agree with you. It's kind of like, I feel like puzzle games like that, when you're in the mood for them, they hit so hard. Like when you're just like in that mindset and you get a flow state going with like solving these types of puzzles, they hit. But when you're not in that place, they just like,
it's rough.
You just can't really get it going, you know? So I totally get that. When that feeling hits and you hop back in, you're going to love it.
Lock in.
Nice.
Very soon I'm going to lock in.
Yeah.
I'll go last. Luke, Joseph, we've not talked since this happened, but 5 years later, I have finally finished The Last of Us Part 2. I started it. It was my big thing. I needed to do it. I got really sad in 2020 when it first came out, and I was like, I can't finish this game because all I'm doing is killing dogs and being sad about the pandemic. Yeah. So I got halfway through, left it, and finally said, okay, it's time to get to it. And boy, oh boy, it's a game that as I get even further away from it, I appreciate it more. Story-wise, but also gameplay is top tier. And it's so good sometimes that you just don't remember or don't take a minute to realize that you're playing one of the most well-realized action-adventure games in the past 10 years. So, fantastic game, great story, so excited, so happy to have played it, so excited to see what they do now in seasons 3 and maybe 4 of the television show, but that'll take 5 years, we know.
Game's so good.
So good.
I will also say real quick, Jacob, before we move on, just as an aside, you sent us a voice memo after you finished the game, and just getting your immediate raw reactions over voice memo.
It was great.
it was so entertaining, and yeah, I'm happy you finished it. I'm happy you had a lot of feelings. It is
I
a
think
lot
the
of
first I
feelings
said
type
2.
of game. You did, yeah. You were
and
like,
the first
this
one was
is
me
raw.
just going,
There was like 2 long pauses and a lot of, I don't know. I just don't know. And like you were processing in real time, and it was very special.
It was
very special message to receive.
Thank
so
you for
shout out.
sharing that with us.
We will look forward to someday podcasting about it, Luke.
Yes.
But hey, this is not a podcast about The Last of Us Part 2. This is a podcast about anticipated indie games for 2026. So we're going to run through a list of 20. Everybody's got 4 that they're bringing to the table. We're going to go popcorn style, just sharing what we are excited about for this, the video game that we brought. And so without further ado, Rogan, as our guest today, you're going to go first again. And I would love for you to talk about Neverway. Because I think there's at least more than one person here that is also excited for Neverway.
Yeah, this is a game that I was not expecting to want so badly, but now like every time I see something new about this game, I'm just like, all right, just give it to me today. This is a life sim RPG, like a horror life sim RPG. It looks like it has some like psychological horror aspects to it. It's from the pixel artist of Celeste and the music composer of Hyper Light Drifter, which are the two things that sort of like just
pretty cool games.
I
You
don't
know,
yeah, like when I first saw that in the first trailer, I can't remember where exactly this game was first revealed, but those two things, like I think I saw Celeste first, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm playing this. And then Hyper Light Drifter after, I'm like, oh, I want to play this immediately. And I still feel that way. I have a couple questions about it. Like these types of games, I'm always kind of wondering, what is the balance of all of these elements that it's trying to do here? A life sim RPG with like some like isometric adventure game elements as well. I'm wondering sort of like, where that balance is, where that push and pull is between what the game wants to be. In some ways, it looks like it's doing something similar to like Stardew Valley, and in other ways, it's doing similar things to like a Tunic or something like that. So I'm really interested to see that part of it. I think with these types of games, I do skew personally towards something more adventure focused rather than the other sort of like more farming simmy type of thing. But I know there are a lot of other people that are completely the opposite way. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they strike a good balance between all of those things, and it kind of sings in a way that Stardew Valley kind of does. Because when you're like going underground and all of that stuff in Stardew, it starts to feel kind of similar to that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I really love the color palette of it all, and the music it sounds great. So yeah.
The color looks very flat mostly, and then there are just these punches of color, whether it's on screens or there's some spooky stuff happening. So I'm with you. This game looks rad.
Yeah, and I also like what they're doing with just sort of like limiting the color palettes. It seems like it's almost like in the different environments they are choosing sort of this main color, and then they occasionally are using like a pop, like a really bright teal against a really sort of muted purple, and it really has this striking look about it that I vibe with heavily. I really like sort of muted color palettes that are trying to sort of convey a specific tone. So yeah, really excited for this one.
Any other Neverway fans on the call today?
Yeah. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, I've been looking at this game for a while, and this is one of those games that could literally fall on either side of the spectrum. I could find myself like really loving this, or it could just not hit at all for me. The way that I've seen like in the trailers it's being pitched, there is a lot going on, but there's a big emphasis on a story, and like you don't really know exactly what's going on. I love those types of games. Like Rogan mentioned, like with Tunic, and even like with like the Crow game, which is Escaping My Death's Door, like stuff like that, where like the story kind of like unfolds as you go, and it just kind of gets grander and grander, and it has like a really nice payoff. I love that stuff, so this could totally fit that and could be a big surprise this year. On the other hand, like sometimes when you do really lean heavily in the story and the story doesn't deliver, sometimes that's even more disappointing to me than if the game was just more focused on action or mechanics or whatnot. So I'm gonna play it. I love like horror that's not too realistic. That's my jam. So I really hope like the story and all the like different mechanics deliver here.
Yeah, agreed. I'm really excited for this one as well. I want to play it on a modded Game Boy or something. Like just the visual style makes me like remember that era of gaming, but it looks really rad. I'm also excited that it's co-published by Outer Sloth because I feel like they're back in some real cool projects. So yeah, just excited to see how it nets out, but super interested.
You could play it in the basement in the corner with a CRT and a Super NES controller. Weirdly, much like your first title, Luke, Blighted from Drinkbox Studios. I feel like you could play that one on a CRT in the basement too.
What a segue.
I could see it. I could see it. Yeah, jumping into my first pick, Blighted. This is from Drinkbox Studios of Tales from Space, About a Blob, and Guacamelee, and Nobody Saves the World fame. I really love this studio. I feel like they're kind of slept on within the industry, but I feel like they put out consistent bangers, and I think in a lot of ways their games have just gotten better and better. Blighted looks like a really, really cool action RPG. I love the vibrant color palette. I got to see this trailer reveal at SGF in person, and it just on a giant theater screen. It was so cool to see the color pop and the action hit. There's supposed to be a fair bit of challenge to this one, so I'm excited to see kind of how the difficulty curve nets out, but I like that they're kind of taking a little bit of a darker tone from Nobody Saves the World, but it still feels like a Drinkbox game through and through, so really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I gotta shout out the Canadian connection again. And for anyone at home who is interested in any of these games, we're gonna share all the links to the Steam descriptions or Steam pages for these. So if any of them sound interesting, please give them a wish list because wish lists really help. Joseph, sorry.
No, this was Rogan.
Oh, Rogan.
No,
sorry.
I was gonna say I'm interested to see how they execute the Metroidvania elements of this. I feel like we're seeing a little bit more of these indie games coming out that are exploring Metroidvania elements, not in such a flat 2D environment. Sure. And so I'm really intrigued to see how they do that here, because this has the potential to be like an all-time banger. I think if they really nail that sort of like exploration. Again, I really like the color palette of this game, but Drinkbox is always doing crazy stuff with the visuals of their games, so it's not really a surprise or anything like that. But yeah, this one looks really cool, and I'm really excited for it.
Hell yeah. And to your point about the visual perspective too, it kind of reminds me of Crypt Custodian that came out a couple years ago. If it can hit on any of that vibe, but then with Drinkbox signature art style and humor and like weighted, challenging combat, say less.
Yeah.
I think there are a few studios that have a distinctive art style that carries through. Supergiant is one of them. I think Drinkbox is one of them. So excited for that one, slated for 2026. That's Blighted from Drinkbox Studios. Joseph, your first title up today, Reanimal by Tarsier Studio. This is from the folks that made the Little Nightmares games, right?
Yeah, honestly, this might be like my most anticipated game on my list right now. Go ahead and stop playing with me. Put some respect on Tarsier Studios' name. If you haven't played Little Nightmares 1, that kind of just set everything into motion where you play it, and it just has a great atmosphere. It's pretty short, but then you get to the end of the game, and there's like a little plot twist, and you're like, wow, what a journey I just went on. Little Nightmares 2, more of the same, and like you could tell when Little Nightmares 3, no shade, but like Little Nightmares 3 came, and there just was a piece of sauce missing. Like that atmosphere feeling was definitely missing. And I played the demo for Reanimal, and I was like, oh, here it is, baby. We're back. Reanimal is definitely, it seems like it's the creepiest of like the Little Nightmare games so far. There's just like you got skin suits slithering around in the demo, and I'm just like, what are we doing here? But I literally can't even fathom what this game is going to hold, like as you make your way through it. I don't know how long it's going to be. I expect it to be like either rather short because it's also co-op, but I can't see this game being bad, knock on wood. My buddy Arsene, as we know, has a kid, brand new, born baby, but we got to figure out how to play this because it's coming out in a couple weeks. I'm going to be like, put the kid down, man. Let's lock in and play this because I got to play it on release day.
Here's the craziest part. It actually comes out by the time you're listening to this. It is out the week that this podcast comes out. So
pause the podcast. Pause
it. Go buy it. Download it. Go buy it. Reviews might be out by the time we see this.
Yeah, this game looks so sick. I included this in a video I did recently, and I was talking about how this game almost seems like the natural evolution to what like Limbo and Inside were doing. And the fact that there's co-op in this, like, yeah, say less. This is an immediate buy. I might actually play this game with my wife, who's not a gamer at all. And she's terrible at every single game she plays. She's amazing at so many other things, but not gaming. But I'll carry her through it, I think. Okay. Or maybe she'll carry me through.
Claire,
It'll be a
are you
marriage
willing
test.
to play?
Yeah,
Spooky,
it looks
scary
cool.
Game,
This one's been on my
marriage
radar
test?
too.
Okay, we're in. Locking it in.
There it is. That's Reanimal from Tarsier Studios. Claire, you're moving us from spooky to space plants. This is Astro Botanica. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I kind of just heard about this game, and it looks really cool. I think it was originally pitched as being like Subnautica meets something else, and I was immediately like, okay, I'll open this email. But so basically, it looks like a survival crafting, farming with some light puzzle solving. But the interesting thing is it's set on Earth thousands of years ago, and you are an alien coming to Earth to research Earth. So it's kind of a twist on the humans going into space to scan all the environment of the alien planet. And it's flipping that upside down, which I think is really really interesting. Of course, I love a game where you can scan, forage, craft, build, and figure out what the heck mystery is happening. That's just my jam. It looks like, oh shoot, I'm totally drawing a blank. What was that game?
Astroneer?
No, well, yes, but I'm thinking of, we played it in early access. You were in a mech suit.
Oh, Lightyear Frontier?
Yeah, Lightyear Frontier.
Yeah, it does
kind of
kinda
hits
have
on
that, but
Lightyear
the color
Frontier
palette
vibes.
too.
I think the thing that was interesting to me is this pic on their Steam page of you scanning a like human Neanderthal person, like learning about the alien life except for its ancient people. I'm really intrigued by that. So, and it just looks kind of pretty and fun and relaxing. So, yeah.
It's got
And
all
this one
the
again.
things that Claire likes.
It's got a whole
her
things.
signature
Yeah.
key features of base building, crafting,
Scanning,
Sorry, go
All
ahead,
the best
Jacob.
verbs.
figuring out.
And the crazy part is this
Wonderful.
one's coming to early access the same week as Joseph's pick Reanimal. So again,
Big week.
another
Big week.
one that
Yeah.
if you think this is interesting, by the time you hear this, early access is just days away. Any other points on Astro Botanica? All right, we're going to keep it moving. My first pick is Ontos from Frictional Games. This is a spiritual successor to Soma, which is probably one of my all-time favorites. Another Canadian connection where you start in Toronto and then you end up in space and it's underwater and it's spooky and it's philosophical. Truly, Ontos looks like you are doing that, except instead of being underwater, you are on a moon hotel. And so if they want to give me the philosophy, if they want to make me think about all my decisions and about the state of the world and myself within it, I'm totally down for it. So even if there's no combat, I'm just ready to explore this world. This one was revealed at the Game Awards, and I was in the crowd for the Game Awards this year. I was lucky enough to do that, and this was, I think, the game I popped for the hardest. I am so stoked for Ontos. Whatever Frictional Games does, I'm there. It reminded me a lot of mouthwashing, just in atmosphere. Obviously not look, because they look wildly different, but I'm in. And Kepler, I think, is involved in this, and Kepler's track record of late has been phenomenal. So
They've been
Ontos.
crushing it lately.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else
So-
excited for Ontos? This wasn't on my wish list, so I need to add it to my wish list now.
Wow.
We had a Skarsgård, right, doing the voiceover for the trailer, and I think that voiceover sold me alone. Like, not even to mention all the weird stuff that was actually visually happening in front of me, but I'm like, oh, they're really trying to sell this narrative. And you guys have talked multiple times ad nauseum about Soma and how great of a game it was. So if this is like the big follow up, I mean, it's safe to say that this might really hit. This could be another big surprise. I feel like there's going to be a lot of surprises this year, but this could be another one that kind of catches people off guard.
Yeah.
What
I'd look
what
up-
year
look it up.
was Soma?
Ooh. 20...
15.
Yeah, ooh.
wow.
I was going to say 16. That's
15.
even longer. Yeah.
11 years
and
ago.
this is their follow up? Like, they haven't made a game since, or
I wanna say-
Frictional Games has made a couple Amnesia games
That's
since
right.
then.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
So they
Okay.
did Amnesia Rebirth and Amnesia the Bunker, but they haven't done a game sort of in this series or as a spiritual successor until now.
Cool.
I love the art
it's Stellan.
direction of this one as well. Like,
Stellan.
it has a cool...
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I love the hype. It's like, it looks realistic, but it has just like a tinge of cool,
Yeah.
cartoony, like almost like Dishonored
Yeah.
look to the characters, where it's more stylized. Looks really neat.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Creepy but cool.
Indeed.
That's Ontos from Frictional Games. We're going to popcorn up to the top of the order. Rogan, your second game is the remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah, this game is kind of nuts and kind of hard to explain, which is why I wanted to bring it up here. This is one that was, I believe, revealed at like a Future Games show or something like that last year. And it really reminded me of something like Inscription in the way that there is some sort of meta narrative happening here. So it's the remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time. It's the last hour of a lost JRPG remade with like director's commentary and archival footage. So it's like this lost hour, but then there's also the devs talking over it, and there's some like FMV stuff happening over
weird.
it. But it's actually a deduction puzzle game. But you're playing the JRPG. Like it's meant to be like this deduction puzzle game where you're uncovering a mystery around the game. It's unclear exactly what the mystery is, but it's very intriguing. And I'm really interested to see how this is executed. These types of things, you never know. Like sometimes they don't hit, and sometimes they really, really do. I think with Inscription's case, it really, really does, at least for me. And so I'm hoping, and by the looks of it, the trailers are really giving me the impression that like they're doing some good here. They're finding those little nuggets that'll, keep you intrigued and keep you on your toes. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how these sort of like real world elements and this like sort of meta storytelling is incorporated into the gameplay of the actual JRPG. It's really weird. And it also, from the trailers, it kind of has, not to bring up Tunic again, you know how, did everybody here play Tunic? So they have one of the main elements of it is like the game manual is you're like collecting pages of the game manual, and it does seem like there is something similar to that happening. There are elements of like these ripped out pages of a manual, and you'll be like looking through it for clues as to what's happening. So yeah, this one is a big question mark in a lot of ways, but I think that's also why I'm like so looking forward to it. It doesn't have a solid release date, but it on the Steam page at least it says Q1 of 2026. So somewhere within the time that I play 1000 Times Resist, this will be coming out.
Nice.
Wild.
Hell yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hooper, you're our resident puzzle boy who has played Tunic and adores Tunic. Are you in for this?
Yeah, I'm totally in for this. I've never, in the last 5 years, I have not played a bad game that has had live action cutscenes baked in. You just can't miss with those, all right? I mean, these devs,
There's
I'm
never
sure they're
been
going to
a
be
bad
acting their
FMV
butts off.
game.
Never. So, I mean, they're saying all the right things. It looks fantastic. I think even when they revealed it at the Future Games Showcase or whatever, there was like an air of comedy about it. Like they really, it really felt like they nailed what they were going for and like the tone that they were going for. So yeah, I mean, like Rogan said, with these, you never really know how it's going to land because you do have to land a lot of different parts for it all to come together. But hey, I'm feeling pretty positive so far.
This looks like such a fever dream, but
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready, but
It kind of looks like immortality in a sense of like the game is not really the game.
But if it was a
And you have to
JRPG
like, I wonder
that you
how
never
much of
played,
you have to like sneak in between the cracks. I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
The remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time, or from the Steam page, the acronym TROTIOT for short. Add it to your wish list now. Luke, your second game up is Good Boy by Observer Interactive.
It sure
a
is.
Metroidvania with creature collecting?
Yeah, let's talk about this one. So this was not on my radar at all until Claire sent me a link this morning and was like, you would probably like this. And I watched the intro trailer, and oh man, I love this game already. So for audiences out there, Good Boy, the elevator pitch I received was Dredge meets Wall-E.
Oh, frick.
That alone, I was like, that sounds really, really awesome and intriguing. So it's a creature collecting Metroidvania. I'm going to read the Steam description for this one because I think it just does a better job explaining it than I could in a short, finite amount of time. A creature collecting Metroidvania in a world where dogs live on forever amongst the stars as space rovers. Become a Leica rover, catch and research creatures, then use their abilities to explore a new frontier. Upgrade and customize as you help your canine companions to unravel an ancient mystery. So it's super cute, and it has this really fun art style with very vibrant colors as you're maneuvering through this world as these cute little robots who are also like dog companions. And the trailer for the game has all of the devs with their dogs talking about the love they have for their pets
Because
and
their
how they
dogs are the
incorporated them
rovers.
into the game, and it's just so wholesome and fun.
very
This
cute.
one's being published by Team 17, who published Dredge as well, and I feel like they have a really solid track record, especially these recent years. So, yeah, I'm really intrigued. But yeah, like I said, wasn't on my radar at all, but just looks really wholesome. But it also looks like it has the sauce in the sense that it has these Metroidvania style exploration elements, and you're setting fire to shrubbery and unlocking new areas, and it almost reminds me a little bit of Pikmin in terms of its art style and overall vibe. Yeah. Kind of like small creature, big world perspective, but looks really neat.
It does look neat.
Good boy. Had this hit anyone else's radar? Because this was definitely not on my radar.
I just got an email for it this morning and forwarded it to Luke.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done,
Yeah,
Team
this is-
17.
Yeah.
Well done. Out in 2026, per the Steam page. Good Boy by Observer Interactive, published by Team 17. Joseph, I've got your second title here, and this one actually I heard
Yes.
about first from Rogan. So I feel like I need to shout
Whoa.
him out before this comes here. But this is The Eternal Life of Goldman.
Yeah, The Eternal Life of Goldman is a game that I am still not sure if it's real. This is one of those games where you see the trailer and you're like, but how? Like, how is this actually a thing? For people that don't feel like going to the Steam page, it is like this action adventure, like side scroller style platformer game. But imagine basically the art style of Cuphead. Like, it's like this hand drawn, old timey, like old school, Looney Tunes-esque art style. There's a tinge of comedy to it if you like go and watch the trailer. There's like this funny voiceover happening. But what really caught my eye is like the animation is gorgeous. Like 10 out of 10. If this game is real and not vaporware, and it actually comes out, like, this will capture my heart for sure. Just because like there's so much detail in almost every frame of the trailer that you see. I don't even know how the gameplay is going to feel, but the animation is selling it like it's going to be buttery smooth. Like, just like looking at the trailer and seeing the dude slide down the hill, like the ramp or whatever that he's sliding, it's just like, this is beautiful. And I don't know if I've seen a game that has this level of artistry, this hand-drawn artistry, since maybe like, you know, OG Cuphead. Obviously Hollow Knight, also incredible, but that's like a little bit different. Yeah, the style of this has blown me away, and I'm hoping the story and everything is engaging as well, because like I said, the tone seems like, you know, they have like a specific tone they're going for. But yeah, we'll see. There's no release date yet, so hopefully we get more information on that soon, but I'm so hyped.
I think the art style really lends itself well to the environmental design, and also just like the fantastical nature of all of it. It's like these weird little creatures running around, and these like larger than life, I don't know, like gods or something in the backgrounds, and it seems insane in the best way. Like, I think they chose the 100% correct art style for the sort of world that they're building.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like Fievel, like the American.
Oh, yeah.
What is that? The little mouse.
Yeah,
what is that movie called from back in the day?
American Tail.
American Tail.
You got it.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like-
the vibe I
yeah.
got.
I
It
can see
definitely it reminds me of like 80s cartoons. Like, I was thinking like older, well, like 80s era Ghibli, or like the animated, I don't know if it's actually 80s, but the animated like The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings movies.
Or like old like Don Bluth Disney
Yeah,
movies, like
Don
The
Bluth.
Rescuers, or like that era where it's like
Yeah.
has kind of a dark twist while being visually like very vibrant in
Yeah.
color. Yeah, it looks
It's really
cool.
pretty.
There's also just something intriguing about a little old man going on an
Yeah.
adventure and doing all this platforming stuff. I'm like, I gotta know what your
So
deal is.
agile.
Yeah, Goldman, what's your
Now-
deal?
I will say there is a tinge of like, hey, we kind of got you type vibe on this, because there is some like a little bit of gore in here and a little bit of like, hey, this is some like, this isn't baby's first, you know, platformer, right? Like,
It's
there's some,
Rescuers
I don't know
Down
how
Under
dark
shit.
it's gonna get, but yeah, like it definitely goes someplace. I think I saw a river of blood at some point in the trailer, so you know we're gonna go places, but I'm super hyped for it.
Hell yeah. The Eternal Life of Goldman from Weepy Studios. Weirdly enough, their first game, I don't know if you remember this one, This Is the Police. They did. It was like a point-and-click detective game that came out about 10 years ago.
That's
they had a sequel
game
to it.
than this. Interesting.
They did
Yeah, I was
a
just gonna
couple of
say.
cop games. It's weird. And then they decided that this was going to be their grand opus.
All right.
A couple of cop games.
Goldman's a cop.
Goldman's a cop. You heard it here
Plot
first.
twist.
It's exclusive. Claire, you've got a hidden object game here that I
Yeah.
want to hear more about. Tell us about Lost and Found Co.
So, Lost and Found Co. From Bit Egg Inc. is like a combo hidden object point and click adventure game, and when I first saw it, reminded me of, it is not, but it reminded me of a game we played at Day of the Devs that was just like hidden object. It was basically just Where's Waldo, but on
Sophia
a
the
computer.
Traveler.
Yeah, Sophia the
That one.
Traveler.
Oh, yeah.
But it looks like this one has a little bit more of like you're actually interacting with characters and there's dialogue, and it looks like as you find things, it then affects the world, and then the world gets bigger and more involved and complex. So yeah, I think this might have been in a Wholesome showcase at some point, and that's how it ended up on my wish list. But it's been on my wish list for quite some time, and now it finally has a release date of March 6th. So I'm really excited to play it when it comes out.
Nice.
Love it. Have you played a lot of hidden object games?
No, I have not. Actually, I think Sophia the Traveler, that demo, kind of opened me up to the genre a little bit, and then I started seeing them more and being like, "Oh, this is cool." And I've been, like I said, I've had Lost and Found Co. on my wish list for multiple years, I think, at this point, because I also have my notes app where I'm like, what's coming soon, and it's been on there for a couple years, so I'm very excited.
It kind of reminds me of, I think it was Rooster.
Yeah,
that you
Rooster
played
was
at a
also on my
PAX
wish
that was,
list.
like,
That's a point and click, but also with the story.
Very cool art
and,
style and doing some fun things.
Yeah, I hope that one comes out soon too.
I am very excited for this. Actually, I'm not like a big hidden object game guy, but I recently started playing a game called Overlook. And that's a hidden object game, and it was just like I just wanted something to chill with, pop a podcast on, and just like find stuff, and that's what this game is going to be for me. I'm playing this day one. Looks great.
It looks cool.
Hell yeah.
It's really
I
pretty.
mean, Overlook also looks pretty cool, and that one
Yeah.
is relatively new, and it only has 18 reviews on Steam, so
Oh, yeah.
we're going to add a link to that here if you want to check out Overlook.
Yeah, great game.
My second game here is a sequel to a much beloved indie title from a few years ago. I've got Toem 2 from Something We Made. It really just looks like more Toem, where you're exploring an environment, you're taking pictures, you're having conversations, you're meeting pals. Except this time, it looks like they've updated the visual style a little bit more, where it is more three-dimensional than the past game. But truly, if I can just get more Toem of going on an adventure and seeking out little pictures of animals and people and things like that, I'm just wholly into Toem 2. So that's one coming out this year in 2026. And I'm assuming, knowing my friends, that there is at least one or two people here that are also stoked for it. Luke, do I see you nodding?
That is correct, yes. I will be playing this. I need to make an addendum and add Toem 1 to my BBL backlog. Because somehow I didn't play it at the time, which is wild because it definitely is a me type of game. I'm a sucker for photography in a game. If there's a cool photography mechanic, I'm always in. I love the art style. I love the use of the black and white color palette. I think is really fun. Also, we got to shout out that the developer's name is Something We Made, which I just think is just so cute and nice. 10 out of 10.
Very good.
Pseudo
I think
name.
they were on a Day of the Devs or something where they presented this one, so super stoked for it. Any other Toem 2 fans here, or people that are stoked for it?
I never played the first one either, actually. Yeah, that's a blind spot for me, so maybe this is a good excuse.
That's
Oh, yeah.
Toem 2 from Something We Made. We're halfway through our list today, so let me popcorn back to the top. Rogan, you've got another regame here. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie, I get Reanimal and this one confused sometimes. This one
Fair.
is Replaced.
Replaced. Yeah. this is a game that's been floating around for a while. And the first time I saw this game, I was kind of blown away by it. It's this 2D platformer set in like an alternative 1980s America that's been scarred by nuclear catastrophe, according to the Steam page. You're an AI trapped in a human body, and a thriller story ensues from there. First of all, apart from the visuals, any trailer that has like a synthwave soundtrack, I'm like, got me. I'm in, on the wish list. So that's kind of like what got me in. But I think the thing that is the most interesting to me about this game is kind of how cinematic it is, especially since it's like a 2D game. But they're doing some really interesting stuff with like camera angles and sort of like, I don't know, it's almost like 3D spaces, but it's still maintaining that 2D perspective, which is really cool. It's very character driven as well. I'm looking forward to seeing sort of like what the gameplay is like and sort of what the gameplay loop is, and sort of how the combat feels. There are some elements in some of the trailers for this game that look so badass. Like, I hope it feels as badass as it looks, you know? So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I've had it on my wish list for a long time now. I know that they're impacted by the Russia-Ukraine war, so like they obviously had to delay it a couple times. I think it was initially 23, then 2024, 25, and now it's coming out in March. I believe.
March 12th.
March 12th, yeah. So, yeah, really looking forward to this one. This game, I've been so hyped for it. My hype has kind of not really dwindled despite the delays.
Yeah, it's one that in one of my fantasy critic leagues, someone is like, that's been delayed a bunch of times, so it's good to have the context to understand exactly why it was delayed. Weirdly enough, the art style, for those who aren't watching the video version and you know, going along with the Steam pages, it's somewhere between like Norco and the Drifter, weirdly enough, and so I'm so in.
Yeah, and they're doing like a lot of really cool stuff with depth. Like it's like there is definitely a foreground and a background, and then there's like the main thing happening. But just like, I don't know, there are a couple shots in the trailers where like the weeds are sort of like swaying in the front, and you're just like, well, it looks really, really cool. And I'm really excited to see sort of like what the full package looks like.
Yeah, I think
any other replace takers?
Visually, I'm immediately sold. I'm interested to see how it plays, just because I feel like the cinematics have me super intrigued, but I wouldn't say skeptical feels like way too harsh a word, but I'm like, I'm neutral. I'm coming in with like reasonable expectations, and I'm excited to be blown away, I think is where I'm at. Yeah.
+1.
+2 on that one. Excited for
I almost
Replace.
choked there, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that. Okay. I feel like I had to address it. Yeah, exactly.
Replaced by Sad Cat Studios. Luke, your third title today is Fishbowl. This one is a Wholesome Presents title from I Miss My Friends studio. Yeah,
this one's been on my radar for a long time. Funnily enough, I heard about this game, I want to say like 2 years ago. The dev actually DM'd me. They saw some content and thought that I would be a fan of this game, which was really sweet and lovely. So I immediately wishlisted it, and it's been on my radar ever since. But very cool narrative game, exploring some deeper, more mature themes, but in a very vibrant, colorful art style. It similar to Neverway, it has that like top-down isometric view as you're moving about the world. I'm just really excited to see where it goes. This is one I'm hoping the story will really hit. I think it has a lot of compelling themes, and I'm a sucker for a solid slice of life experience, but it looks like it's intermixing some different gameplay styles and tackling a compelling story in a cool way. And we love wholesome games here as a publisher, so this one's it just looks really neat.
Yeah, I'm stoked for this one. It's it very much feels like something. When Wholesome said they were picking this up to publish or co-publish, I was like, yes, absolutely. It gives me like Knuckle Sandwich vibes.
That's a good pull.
It's gonna pull at my heartstrings, and I'm just like, I'm wildly excited for it.
And I didn't touch on the other gameplay systems, but there's like, in the trailer you can see a bunch of different things. So there's like kind of like an audio editing mini game that looks Guitar Hero-esque, and then you're when you're talking to folks, it's like more of like a first person perspective, so the art style changes. So there's some cool variety going on.
Yeah.
There's a packing mini game where you're like Resident Evil inventory style moving stuff around. So lots
almost
going
top
on.
down GBA,
Yeah.
and then you get into the windows where you see the folks like a coffee talk.
Yeah.
So
Coffee talk. That's a good parallel.
so many
yeah.
influences that we keep saying more games, and I'm like, give it to me now. It's
Coffee
coming out
talk
in April.
vibes as well, so that's a good pull. But yeah, that's
Fishbowl. Coming from I Miss My Friend Studio, co-published by Wholesome. Joseph, you've got the only game today, I believe, that is not available on Steam on PC. This is Orbitals, a Switch 2 exclusive from Shape Farm.
Yep. All of the Switch 2 bourgeoisie who, were actually able to get one last year can finally bask in your glory and pick up Orbitals. If you're not familiar with Orbitals, buckle up, bucko, because this game looks fantastic. They showed it at the Game Awards, and just imagine It Takes Two, but like anime, retro anime. The art style like completely sold me. It is like spot on for what you think about when you think about really not even just like Dragon Ball Z, but like even older in terms of like classic retro anime. The characters are super cute, but also it looks like the co-op gameplay might be able to hold up. I know that why am I blanking on the It Takes Two studio's name? Hazelight, thank you. Hazelight has kind of been like the sole co-op manufacturer right now, and honestly, they're really the only company that's been getting attention for their co-op games for the most part. But it looks like Orbitals might, really pack a punch in terms of like the overall adventure, the puzzles, the like little action segments that they have. So I don't know. It just seems like a total vibe. I don't know how deep the story's going to go. But hey, I think they're even speaking Japanese, and you have like English subtitles, which I mean, say less. Like, I'm totally down for just the vibe, the overall vibe of this game.
It looks so cool.
Yeah. Looks, so good. I picked this up in our fantasy critic, and I'm thinking high points for that one. It kind of reminds me if like Cowboy Bebop was cute.
Yes.
That's great.
I feel like it's everything I dreamed of as a kid, of just like play the thing you see on TV.
Yeah, this game looks sick.
And another like Kepler title that they're publishing, so their hot streak just continues here.
They can't be stopped.
They cannot be stopped.
No.
Orbitals from Shape Farm, Switch 2, so you can't wish list. Rogan.
I do have one thing about it. What do you think about it being on the Switch 2? Like, do you think this is coming to PC like a year later or something like that? Like, it's going to be a timed exclusive?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to. I mean, I guess it probably will depend on the reception, but knowing probably Kepler, I'm sure they said, hey, like we can help you port this as soon as your contract is up. So it's probably like like a year, maybe 6 months, who knows, depending on how big it is. So yeah, we can definitely see it. Or at least PS5 at the minimum, I would guess.
Agreed.
That said, I do love... I'm a big Switch 2 fan, but it is nice to have like an indie specific reason to grab the Switch 2. So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys...
Something you're seeing less of these days.
with co-op playing on the Switch 2, the only fight we're gonna have in my house is who's gonna get the Pro Controller for Switch 2, because my partner has played, no joke, 400 hours of Balatro with that Pro Controller 2, and so I think she staked an ownership claim over it. So I'm gonna have to use the junky Switch 1. That is Orbitals. Claire, your third game today is a sequel to a game that I know you really liked. Tell us about Planet of Lana 2.
Yeah, I was putting together my list, and this wasn't on it, and Luke was like, "What are you doing?" Because
I said, in fairness, I was surprised it wasn't on your list.
So on my Steam wish list, things aren't showing up if they don't have a date. So that's why I missed it the first time around. But yeah, Planet of Lana was one of, if not my game of the year it came out. And in hindsight, I will think back at that game, as we're doing our game of the year. And I think, that was a good game. Like, how good is this game? Is it Planet of Lana good? Like, it's just become like kind of a reference point. So beautiful. There are some really cool moments, especially at the end of the game, both visually and in terms of like how the gameplay all comes together. The puzzle solving was a little bit, it wasn't super complicated most of the time. And then there were a couple puzzles that were like stupid hard for no reason. And then the platforming was just a tiny bit not precise enough for what it was asking you to do at certain times.
It was kind of slow too,
yeah,
right?
It was a slow build, but some things that I really appreciated were like the way that the puzzles tied in with the world and the world building, and like you were discovering these ships and realizing how the people arrived on this planet in the first place, and then you kind of realize why are these robots showing up and attacking you. Oh, the reason is actually really cool, and the way it tied into music was, as a music fan, was so cool. And the way that it then like tied in the themes that related to the gameplay into like the orchestral score at the end was just like, oh my god, it was so cool. So when I heard it got a sequel, I was like, yeah! I'm excited it looks like you are learning more about the like origins of the people, and it also sounds like there's other like tribes of people involved, which I'm really intrigued by. And I'm hoping that the puzzles are more complex, as sometimes, like with sequels, they find their footing. They, just are going to reiterate on something they did, but they're going to do it better the second time. So I really hope that is the case with this game, and that the puzzles are a little bit more complex. And I'm excited to see how they expand on what they've already built within the backdrop of these really, really beautiful hand-painted sets, I suppose. Yeah.
Any other Planet of Lana fans here?
Yay.
This is on my BBL for sure.
This is also on my BBL.
This is on my Q2 BBL.
Q2 BBL, yeah.
I mean, it's not super long and it's not super complex.
You're speaking my language. This game's just so
and I think
pretty.
it's...
It just, you can't.
Yeah.
Also, y'all would have, I'm sure, a much easier time with the things that I found challenging.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Just like the precision platforming in 2D is not my strong suit. So.
It's also just like a 5-hour game. I didn't realize it was that short. So I guess there's, and it just came out a couple years ago, so it's probably Steam Deck compatible. So no excuses not to play the original.
Also, it's the little cat creature.
The little cat-looking creature.
Yeah.
Also, the second
Obsessed
one
with
is Steam
Mooey.
Deck verified, and it's not even out yet. So kudos to them.
Oh,
They're
hell
on
yeah.
They're on it.
Wishfully is on it. Planet of Lana 2. Throw it on your wish list ASAP. My penultimate game is Dench Attack. I think this one was announced either at SGF in the pre-show or Opening Night Live in the pre-show. It is very much a game that is sort of a cross between Jet Set Radio and Tony Hawk, but you play as a Japanese train. And so it's just you doing grind tricks as a Japanese train. So it looks dumb and stupid and fun, and I'm so super into it. You can grind on Ferris wheels. You can do like a Rainbow Road sort of train track as you go into the sky. I'm mega in for Dench Attack.
This looks so cool.
Yeah, it looks rad.
This is a
We're watching the
fever dream,
trailer,
isn't
and
it?
we're like fixated on this trailer.
You can.
It also looks like there's an overworld, which I loved Ollie Ollie World a couple of years ago, and so to give me an open, an overworld where you go into levels, very much like that. You're speaking my language. There's giant robots and kaiju as well, so just sign me up immediately. This one's coming out sometime in 26.
Yeah, this one's insane. I love when games just like take it to the nth degree, like just go so far beyond bizarre that it's like, okay, yeah, we're just off the rails. I guess no pun intended. I don't know. But yeah, this I feel like the gameplay looks like it's going to be smooth as hell just by the way they're portraying it. So this kind of might be my Mega Bonk replacement, where I just need to play something for like 5, 10, 20 minutes. I'll do some tricks on this and I'll be satisfied.
Hit the rails.
Yeah, this is a game that I look at and I'm like, okay, what, like, there had to be a meeting, like a brainstorm, where somebody was like, okay, listen, you're a train. And Tony Hawk, it's also that too. Like,
I just stands up, starts clapping.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing it. Invest.
like, what kind of meeting are we going to? Because you could go to a different kind of meeting to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm very interested to see the depth that this game brings. Obviously, like, I think it's going to be fun no matter what. I think my main question is like, what's the like long tail of that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the staying power of a game like this? And so many games like this have come out, and just you look at your Steam timer and you're like, oh my god, how do I have like 50 hours in this game? But sometimes they can come out and you play them for a night and then you're like, okay, I think I got out of it what I need. But yeah, we'll see. I think I love the concept.
Yeah.
Silly from Undercoders. That's Dench Attack. All one word if you're looking it up on Steam. Rogan, we're coming to your last game here. We've each got one left, and then we're going to go through a quick speed round of stuff we might have missed. We've got a couple of huge 300-pound gorillas here, including yours, Slay the Spire 2.
Yeah. I think the 4 that I picked that I wanted to talk about, the reason why I chose them are because, like, obviously I'm looking very forward to them, but they come with a couple caveats and they come with a couple questions, not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like, I want to see how this goes, and I think Slay the Spire 2 is like the biggest question mark for me, because I'm like, what is it? Like, a lot of the trailers look to be like, it's Slay the Spire, which is awesome. Like, that Slay the Spire is an amazing game. But I wonder what they were talking about, again, in the meeting room, where they were like, it is justified that we are making a second game, I'm excited to see sort of what they bring. If, listeners or viewers don't know, it is the roguelite deck builder. I think it's kind of I don't want to say it's like the first one that hit the scene, but it's kind of the biggest first one that I think a lot of the great ones that have come out since would probably point to it and be like, yeah, Slay the Spire is an awesome game, and we took this from that. But I'm very interested to see what are the new elements that they're bringing into this to make it a sequel, or are they just kind of like trying to broaden it out and bring new characters and bring a bunch of new abilities and bring a bunch of new, I can't remember if they call them like boons or like the relics. I think they're called relics in the game. Mm-hmm. It's been a while since I played the original. But yeah, maybe they're just like broadening the scope of it and just making it a much bigger game. I think the original game had 4 playable characters, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe they're just like doubling it or tripling it, and you can take your runs to the next level. But yeah, it's my biggest question. It's coming into early access. It's not like the full release immediately, so we'll see how it is at launch. Obviously, they're going to have like a lot of work to do once it comes out to fix and balance and that sort of thing. It always happens when it's an early access title, but yeah, it's one I'm very curious about, because I always want more Slay the Spire, but I wonder what a Slay the Spire 2 looks like.
Because my understanding here is that they're adding the characters back from 1, and then they're additionally adding new classes too. So there will be much more game there.
Yeah, exactly. So and then so I just wonder, they're very likely bringing more gameplay elements in this time around. I wonder what those look like. I wonder how they make this an even deeper card game, because the card game is already so good, and the original Slay the Spire already feels so good to play, and it feels like there's already so much depth. I wonder what they can do to sort of make it bigger.
Who else is here on day 1? Hooper.
I have a confession to make. All right. I am one of the biggest Slay the Spire haters out there.
Whoa.
It's true. It's true. And my justification for this is so, pardon my language, dog shit. Like, I can't, I have no good justification, but the game is really hard and I don't really like the art style. So when I lose, I'm like, dang, I didn't really like looking at me losing like this, as opposed to like Hades, where I'm like, Hades is beautiful, so like I'm willing to run it back. I will say, from what the little bit that we've seen so far, Slay the Spire 2 does look like it has improved visuals, a lot more animations, a lot more going on, and I have developed intellectually as well, so maybe it won't be as hard as when I played it like several years ago. So I'm gonna give it another chance, but I will be skeptical coming in, and everybody will like it except maybe me, so we'll see.
You got a big brain now, so you're good for it. Got it.
Question for the group on this one.
Yeah.
I have another confession to make. Different confession than Joseph.
Okay.
I never played the original Slay the Spire.
Me neither.
On paper, I would love this game. Do I just jump into 2 at this point? Or do I jump into 1 for $6 Steam sale, play it till the end of time? Just go to 2?
Just go to 2. Just prepare
As
yourself.
the OG fans, any...
My only question about 2 is that it's entering early access, so you just never really know what exactly the state of it is going to be. But I do think Slay the Spire is very hard. I totally agree with you, and I actually think the visual style isn't my favorite either. But I just love the gameplay loop so much that I'm mostly looking at the cards more than I am the stuff that's happening on screen.
Fair.
But if you like card games, like it's really fun. If you don't, you probably won't like it that much.
Fair. That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, it's just well designed. I think like it's almost like, for me, the way I think about it is like when they were making this game, they had an actual deck of cards that were the actual cards, and they just played the game physically. And they figured that out, and then they're like, okay, let's just make this a digital thing and then sell it to people.
Yeah. It's the deck building is a real good loop, and each character is a little distinct too. So friend of the show, Katie Lesperance, has played something like 500 to 1,000 hours of Slay the Spire 1. So
wow,
it can get its hooks in.
It's one of those games. It's one of those games. Some people are like, I have 7,000 hours, and I'm like, oh, holy smokes.
Yeah, I played it in bed every day for 2 years, so it adds up. Slay the Spire 2 from Megacrit Studios, coming to early access in March. Luke, you've got another one also that I feel like is a 600-pound gorilla, or rather, a 600-pound mouse. This is Mina the Hollower.
Nice.
Mina the Hollower. What is left to say about this game, really? But I will continue to put it on my list until it comes out. I think I first played a demo for it back in 2022 at PAX, I want to say. And it felt incredible then. Every time I've gone hands-on since, it has felt incredible. I absolutely love Hollow Knight. The team over at Yacht Club is definitely cooking with this one, and I think we're in for an all-time classic whenever it does release. So, super excited for this one.
No date on it, because I think they were
Crazy.
like
No
Halloween,
date.
and then they pulled the date.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it coming out this year, since it did have the date last fall. But it's another one where it's like, I love the team over there, and they can take as long as they need, and I'll be ready day one regardless. But I'm putting it on my list to will it into existence, to give them that last push of positivity heading into the launch.
I think I played this
100%.
game 5 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I can't wait to play this game in like 3 months. Little
It
did I
felt
know.
so good then that I'm just like, wow, they've
Yeah.
been polishing and working on this game all this time. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wonder is like, I'm wondering if like the time in between like announcement to launch has now maybe grown into a bigger beast than the game was initially intending to be. Like, you announce it, it comes out a year later, and it is what it is, right? But now that there's so much hype around and so much anticipation, like, I'm wondering if they felt like they needed to do more to make it live up to like people's anticipation. And I don't know how in the retro, like the really retro style is anymore. So I really hope that whatever that launch is really kind of like gets the reception that, you know, it hopefully deserves when it comes out, because it's kind of almost like a niche type game for a specific audience. Like, I know the retro people are really looking forward to it. In the comments, there's somebody like, yeah, I don't play any modern games, but I'm going to play this because it has this style. So it captures that audience, but I'm curious how it does at large.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious about this too, because I know Yacht Club Games, this is kind of make or break for them. That article came out a couple months ago at this point, like just after their they delayed it. They delayed it like weeks before this game was coming out, which was pretty nuts. And yeah, that, oh my god, I hope this game does really well, because Yacht Club Games, something happened to them. Like, they're the GOATs. Like, they're up there with the GOATs, right? For indie games at least. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, because I think it's always kind of a risk for a studio to do a new IP these days.
Sure.
And I just hope this is something that like resonates with people, so that they can make like a Mina the Hollower 2, or like include Mina the Hollower, I don't know, like do some like merchandising or something like that. Kind of like what Shovel Knight was, because Shovel Knight kind of blew up.
Fun fact for you, Luke, your last game on our most anticipated episode of 2024 was
knew it.
also Mina the Hollower.
I knew it.
Oh
I
my
told you.
God.
In fairness,
My man's consistent.
Hooper had Silksong on his list for like 3 years straight, and
That's
we
true.
got-
That's true.
If Silksong can land the plane, this is a real good game. You know.
Mina the Hollower from Yacht Club Games. We've got 3 games left here. Joseph, your last game is Darwin's Paradox by ZDT Studio. This is not Octodad, right?
This is not Octodad, but it might be a little close. Darwin's Paradox, once again, I'm kind of a sucker for like the cinematic side-scrolling like narrative type games, and that is exactly what Darwin's Paradox is. You play as a little octopus that is kind of being put through the machine, in terms of like, you're in the ocean, you get captured, and now people are like putting you through this, like, I don't even know, culinary industry, trying to like effectively cook all of you and your brethren and make meals out of you. So you're kind of like escaping this machine, ducking chefs, like in an overcooked, I don't know, Ratatouille style adventure. And it just looks really good. I think what caught me, similar to The Eternal Life of Goldman, is the art style. It really has a Pixar-esque art style. And the animations are really smooth. And I think this could be a hit. Like, there's definitely some question marks in terms of like, what is the story actually going to be saying? Like, how good is the platforming that they're showing off? But I think if it lives up to what they're showing, it's going to be a very, very solid time. And I'm definitely going to be there day one when it comes out.
I hadn't heard about this before, and I'm so in. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, I love these sort of side-scrolling narrative games. And I don't know, the sort of whole story about like the octopus coming from the ocean and sort of like going through the factory or whatever.
Yeah.
I know for a fact this, I think it's gonna go to places where you might be shedding a tear or something.
Yeah, that's my hope, at least.
Yeah.
I do want to shed at least one tear.
Yeah.
You got inside in my Octodad.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Thank
Stupid. That is Darwin's Paradox by ZD2 Studios. Claire, mixtape.
Yeah, sorry, we had to mute because our cat.
You were expecting me to say more words, and I was just like, mixtape!
No.
No, you're good.
So I have been looking forward to mixtape for a while. It was in some sort of showcase a while ago. This is from Beethoven and Dinosaur, published by Annapurna, which makes only bangers except for that one time, which we don't talk about. So it looks like a narrative adventure game with a heavy focus on music. It's just got big 90s vibes. And I think the thing that really caught my attention the first time around seeing the trailer was the autumn, last hurrah before the end of the summer, end of summer, early autumn vibes, and just that kind of feeling of transition. But then there's also a lot of other things going on too, and just the art style is really cool. So I am excited to see more of what this game is. There's skateboarding. The art style kind of looks like Into the Spider-Verse-esque in terms of the way there's a little bit of visual stutter almost with the frame rate, but in a very intentional sort of way. And yeah.
I not play the Artful Escape. I want to in build up to this.
It rules.
But it very much
it's so good.
Yeah, I need to play it, and I really haven't gotten the Life is Strange vibe from a game since True Colors, and this really is giving me exactly that.
Yeah, I'm getting I love games that are sort of taking you back to, I don't know, nostalgic times, hanging out with friends and being a bit I don't know, reckless in kind of a youthful way. I love the focus on music. Some of the artists that they have in this game, like The Cure, Joy Division, I think Iggy Pop is in there. The soundtrack's going to be just insane, and I can't wait for it. It's giving me Breakfast Club vibe. John Hughes, 16 Candles type of vibes. So good.
Mixtape. Go ahead.
I'm going to quickly say this is an interesting one because everything that's being shown in the game isn't really what I'm nostalgic for. I wasn't a skateboard kid. I didn't really listen to this type of music, but I appreciate that the devs are using the art style, the fantastical nature of everything to kind of introduce people that may have not had that nostalgic feeling to their own personal connections to this time period. So I'm very excited about this game. I love the little cinematic nature they're doing with everything, and I'm very excited to hear probably a lot of music that I didn't really listen to growing up, and maybe I'll have a new playlist by the end of it. So I'm hyped.
Mixtape by Beethoven and Dinosaur. Our last title in our core 20 is one from me, from Deconstruct Team and Selkie Harbor. This is Virtue and a Sledgehammer. It is not Control Resonant. It is another Hammer game coming later this year from the team that made one of my favorites last year, Many Nights a Whisper, and also Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood. It really just looks like, hey, instead of going to therapy, what if you just smash with Hammer? And it seems very ambitious for that team, given the fact that they typically, in my opinion, don't make 3D action games. But here they're deciding to make Hammer-based 3D action game that will likely have the same sort of story chops that we are used to in their titles. I saw this. I forget where it was announced. It's been announced recently. It's coming out this year. Can't believe they're doing another game. Some people have said they don't even know if it'll come this year. But look, give me more Hammer games this year. Control Resonant, Virtue and a Sledgehammer. We need more of them, please.
Yeah, this looks cool. I think I don't actually have a lot of experience with this dev, but whenever Devolver is attached to something, I'm playing it. I'm trying it, So I'm really interested. I do hope the story or like the narrative bits can really reel me in here, because I'm kind of like looking for something that'll just like the octopus game, maybe shed at least one tear somewhere.
If you have not played Many Nights of Whisper, I like highly recommend it.
Yeah.
If we become friends on Steam, Rogan, you may end up getting a gifted copy of this one, because it is an hour long and it is that good.
Yeah, I've heard great things. So maybe I'll become friends with you on Steam for that purpose, and
for that exact reason,
and then unfriend you.
389. Well, then maybe I don't want it, but either way, that's Virtue and a Sledgehammer. That's our core 20. What I'd love to do now is just run through a series of very quick hits. We've got 4 here. I'm just going to run through them, and whoever added it to the list, just jump in. The first one we have is Call of the Elder Gods.
Yeah, that's me. If you haven't played Call of the Sea, like incredibly underrated game. It's a puzzle game. You're kind of stranded on this random island wreck ship, and like there's this whole like Cthulhu type underbelly to everything. Now they're even leaning harder into it with Call of the Elder Gods, which is a sequel. I don't know if it's a direct sequel, but it's the same vibe of like puzzle solving, mystery solving, and kind of just getting to the bottom of whatever's going on. I'm very excited about this one. I don't think maybe I've ever heard really anybody talk about Call of the Sea. So this is my one opportunity. Guys, go pick it up, go wishlist it, do whatever you need to do, give it a try, especially if you like puzzle games. Yeah. So Call of the Elder Gods.
Cool.
That's a great call out. I didn't realize this was happening. I loved Call of the Sea. That was played it during that pandemic, and to be honest, totally forgot about it until right now, but really enjoyed it at the time.
American Arcadia they did too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The art style.
There it is. There it
makes
is.
sense. Nice.
Call the Elder Gods. That's our first one. Our second one is Shantytown.
That was me. This was the one that Planet of Lana booted off my list. So Shantytown, it just kind of looks like Tiny Glade meets Blade Runner. I don't know. It looks like it's a sandbox, making buildings, but also in a more urban environment, and not like medieval, but more modern, and necessarily not focused on like grandeur, but it also had like, it's a shanty town, so it's a little bit more like utilitarian vibes, like people actually live here, and it looks like you can do some really cool things within the world, and there's different environments like on top of a dam, or like dark alley, but also like it's pretty too, and not just like dystopian. Do you know what I mean? Like eco-urban. Looks cool.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Thank you.
And this one has a date too. This
I like
one's April 16th of this year coming out.
Yeah,
so.
coming up real soon.
Shantytown. Forbidden Solitaire is one from me. This one comes from Gray Alien Games and Night Signal. Night Signal did Hotline Safety, Home Hotline Safety. What was the name of that game?
Hotline
Home Safety Hotline.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Which, thank you. Jumble of words from 2024, where you play on a hotline answering like weird questions about the supernatural. Forbidden Solitaire is very much like, what if a 95 game like Myst with FMV, but also weird solitaire, where you can get keys and kill people and slot gems into your hand to give you powers. It looks so bizarre and cool and weird. There's a demo on Steam now, and it's supposedly coming out in the fated Q1. So get ready, Forbidden Solitaire. Q1 business.
It's business, baby.
Mr. Sleepy Man, I feel like, was Joe Hooper.
That was me.
Absolutely, man.
Oh,
Me
dang. Okay.
with Mr. Sleepy Man. We were talking about fever dreams. Well, here's another one for you, audience. This game is crazy. Thank goodness you're here, but meets more of like a Tinykin style 3D platformer. It looks absolutely wild. A very vibrant, cartoony world that reminds me of a Double Fine game. Really wacky, comedic vibes. Looks really, really fun. Coming out March 10th from solo dev Devin Santi.
Yeah, this one looks weird as shit in like the best way.
Yeah, I love it.
So
awesome.
that was our entire list of games. If you want to check them out, we've got all of the Steam links and a Switch 2 link in the description. 24 games to add to your 2026 most anticipated games list. That is our show for today. So with that, Rogan, I have to give you a huge tip of the hat and thank you for coming out today. If folks have made it all the way here and they've not followed you on a social media, where can they do that?
What are you even doing if you haven't?
What are you
No, I'm just
doing?
joking. They can follow me at RoganPlaysGames on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Amazing.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. That's our show. We always remind people to do 4 things as we close the show. Throw them up. We're setting our status to away, and here are those 4 things. Follow us on BlueSky at crossplayconvos.bsky.social. Subscribe to us on YouTube because we're putting some effort into the video stuff, so please give us a follow there. Send this podcast to a friend because that's how people hear about podcasts, and give us a review on your podcasting platform of choice because it really, truly does help. And with that, my friends, I say indies are back, baby. Woo. Bye.
They never left.
Where do they go? Yeah.
Where did they go?